Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
Si Nancy Faye, President na nagpatupad ng martial law.
Si Nancy Tate, President na nagpatupad ng war on drugs.
President daw pero hindi binigay yung lupa ng mga magsasaka.
Pangulo o Panggulo, President na nagkaroon ng impeachment trial.
Kilala niyo na ba? Ikaw, kilala mo na? Tara, at kilalanin natin yan sa Ready, Then!
Narito ang mga sumusunod na mechanics. Sa game na ito, mapapatunayan ang lalim ng kaalaman ng mga manlalaro mula sa konsepsyon patungkol sa mga presidente sa nagdaang republika. Paalala, mayroon lamang 12 presidente ang lalabas mula sa portal at sila ang mga pagpipilian ng mga manlalaro sa kada bunot ng tanong. Ang mga manlalaro ay mayroon lamang 12 minuto upang pumili ng kanilang sagot. Katulong ang mga press investigators, bibigyan sila ng mga ideya upang makapili sino nga ba sa kanila ang Pangulo o Panggulo sa 12 presidente.
Ako ang head at kami ang press investigators. Natutulong kung ang politiko ay Pangulo o Panggulo, di ba?
Ngayon, nakikita natin ang mga kalahok galing sa 11 Concepcion.
Kamusta naman kayo?
Gusto kayong maglaro?
Sigaw mo sa hangin, tumindig at magsilbing liwanag. Liwanag sa dilim, hanapin mong magiting ang bagong awitin. Ikaw ang liwanag sa dilim, hanapin mong magiting ang bagong awitin.
Para sa unang katanungan,
Who was the president from the Third Republic who allowed the Philippine pesos to float on the free currency?
Ay, alam niyo ba, feel ko si Manuel Rojas yan. Kasi siya ang unang presidente ng Third Republic at huling presidente ng Commonwealth. Siya din ang nagpalakas ng sovereignty at nag-propose ng Central Bank para sa Pilipinas.
Hindi! Mali yan! Suggestado yan. Kasi during his honor, isa sa mga project niya is seeking to stimulate economic development.
Hindi sinistado yan, si Magsaysay yan, dahil siyang nagsuko ng komunismo at naglagda ng lupa sa mga kayan.
Parang si Gustavo talaga yan eh. Lawyer kasi siya. Kaya pinakilala niya noon sa Pilipinas ang palitan ng dolyar.
Estado.
I am Diosdado Macapagal, and I am the 9th President of the Republic of the Philippines. I served during 1961 to 1965, and here are my contributions during my presidency. During World War II, I practiced law in Manila and aided the anti-Japanese resistance. After the war, I worked in a law firm, and in 1948, I served as Second Secretary to the Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C. The following year, I was elected to a seat in the Philippine House of Representatives, serving until 1956. As promised during my sonat, I focus on socio-economic and allow Philippine peso to float on free currency. I was elected during 1961 by a coalition of liberals and progressives, defeating the re-election bid of Carlos P. Garcia. I focused on fighting graft and corruption in the government. Seeking to stimulate economic development, I took the advice of wealthy supporters and allowed the Philippine peso to float on the free currency exchange market. In 1979, I organized the National Union for Liberation as an opposition party to the Marcos regime. I also changed the official celebration of Independence Day from July 4, the date in 1946 that United States granted independence, to June 12, the date in 1898 that Emilio Aguinaldo declared independence from Spain. The timing of the decision to change the date of Independence Day was not out of resentment from the United States, but rather a judicious choice of timing for the taking of an action which had previously been decided upon. During my term, I also made the decision to recognize Jose P. Laurel, who was made President of the Philippines by the Japanese occupation forces, as having been an official president. Prior to this, Laurel's regime had not been recognized by post-World War II Filipino government as having held any legal status.
This president was under the Third to Fourth Republic, who was also the 10th president of the Philippines that focused on the expansion of the Philippine military during his long term.
Si Marcos yan, siya lang naman ang presidente ng First Republic eh.
Kaya alam nyo, piliin nyo na yan. Si Marcos yan.
I am Ferdinand Emmanuel Edralin Marcos Sr., the 10th President of the Republic of the Philippines. I became the President in 1965 and was re-elected in 1969. I declared martial law on September 21, 1972 by Proclamation Number 1081. I, by virtue of presidential decrees, curtailed press freedom, closed down Congress and media establishments. Opposition leaders and militant activists were arrested, including my critic, Senator Benigno Aquino Jr., and with the abolishment of the constitutionally elected bodies, I was regarded as a dictator who curtailed the rights and freedom of the people. I became the President of the Philippines up to 1986, where I was toppled from power by People Power 1 of the bloodless and EDSA revolution. All in all, I became the President of the Philippines for about 21 years. With this being stated, the following are my contributions during my term. First of all is the Lung Center of the Philippines. On January 16, 1981, the Lung Center of the Philippines, or LCP, which provides healthcare specifically on lung and pulmonary diseases, was established in Quezon City by yours truly under Presidential Decree Number 1823. Next is the Philippine Heart Center. The Philippine Heart Center is a government corporation organized and existing under and by virtue of Presidential Decree Number 673. Another one is the National Kidney and Transplant Institute. The National Kidney and Transplant Institute, or NKTI, was created on January 16, 1981 by virtue of Presidential Decree 1832, signed by yours truly. Additionally is the Philippine Children's Medical Center. The Philippine Children's Medical Center, formerly known as Lungsod ng Kabataan or LNK, was created pursuant to Presidential Decree Number 1631, dated August 10, 1979, primarily for the benefit of the Filipino youth and the children in order to enhance the scientific research in pediatric diseases and to provide medical services for the treatment and prevention of illnesses. I also do the expansion of the Philippine military. One of my earliest initiatives upon becoming president was to significantly expand the Philippine military. In an unprecedented move, I chose to concurrently serve as my own defense secretary allowing me to have a direct hand in running the military. I also significantly increased the budget of the armed forces, tapping them in civil projects such as the construction of schools. Generals who are loyal to me were allowed to stay in their positions past their retirement age or were rewarded with civilian government posts, leading Senator Benigno Aquino Jr. to accuse me in 1968 of trying to establish a garrison state. Who was the president from the Third Republic who privatized the electricity industry and restored power? Pursuing a policy of economic liberalization, he achieved annual growth of more than 5% and pronounced the Philippines, if not a tiger economy, a tiger cub one.
Legislado yan. Investor din siya ng magandang pinapiyada.
Talaga ba? Bakit ba naman?
Oo nga, kasi si Ramos yan.
Bakit mo naman nasabi?
Wala, trip ko lang. Pero kayo pa rin naman kasi yung mag-decide eh. Pero check mo talaga si Ramos yan.
Ako si Fidel V. Ramos, ang ika-12 presidente ng Republika ng Pilipinas at ito ang aking mga naging ambag sa aking panunungkulan.
Sa ekonomiya, ipinatupad ko ang inatas ng IMF World Bank na programang reformang tinatawag na Philippines 2000 na naglalayong baguhin ang ekonomiyang batay sa agrarian tungo sa isang industrial na pinapatakbo ng pamilihan. Tinangka ng aking administrasyon na akitin ang pamumuhunan ng mga dayuhan sa pamamagitan ng mga reforma sa batas at pisikal na nagpapanatili sa mga sahod na mababa at nagpapalawig sa zonang nagpoproseso ng pagluluwas. Binuwag ko rin ang mga monopolyo at ginawang pribado ang mga mahalagang industriya. Sa patakarang panlabas naman, tinukoy ng aking administrasyon mula Hunyo 1992 hanggang Hunyo 1998 ang 4 na pangunahing prioridad ng patakarang panlabas ng Pilipinas. Ang pagpapahusay ng pambansang seguridad, pagpapataguyod ng diplomasya sa ekonomiya, proteksyon ng mga manggagawang Pilipino sa ibang bansa at mga mamamayang Pilipino sa ibang bansa, at ang pagpapakita ng magandang imahe ng bansa sa ibang bansa. Pinalakas ko rin ang dayuhang kalakalan, pamumuhunan at opisyal na tulong sa pagpapaunlad sa Pilipinas sa pamamagitan ng aking mga pagbisita sa estado at mga pulong sa summit. Noong 1996, ang Pilipinas ay matagumpay na nag-host ng APEC Leaders Summit. Dahil dito, ang Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipino Act of 1995 o ang Republic Act 8042 ay nagbigay ng balangkas para sa mas matibay na proteksyon ng mga manggagawang Pilipino sa ibang bansa, kasama ang paglikha ng Legal Assistance Fund at ang Assistance to Nationals Fund at ang pagtatalaga ng DFA ng isang Legal Assistance for Migrant Workers Affairs na may ranggong Undersecretary of Foreign Affairs. Naging masigasig din ako sa paglaban para sa ating karapatan sa teritoryong pinag-aagawan sa West Philippine Sea nang madiskubre ng ating sandatahang lakas ang isang estrukturang itinatayo ng mga Chino sa Half Moon Shoal na nasa loob ng ating 200-mile exclusive economic zone. Agarang naghain ng formal na protesta ang bansa sa International Court. Naging aktibo rin ang aking administrasyon sa usaping pangkapayapaan sa pamamaraan ng isang kasunduan sa Moro National Liberation Front o MNLF na pinamunuan ni Nur Muswari. Naging maganda ang takbo ng bansa sa halos lahat ng aspeto nito sa ilalim ng aking administrasyon. Subalit, napigil ito nang dumanas ang Asya ng isang financial crisis noong 1997. Bilang epekto, mula sa mahigit na 5% paglago ng ekonomiya noong 1977, bumagsak ito sa kalahating porsyento na lamang ng sumunod na taon. Marami rin ang nagsarang negosyo na nagresulta naman ng pagtaas ng unemployment rate sa bansa. Subalit, dahil sa isa sa pinakamatatag na ang stock market ng Pilipinas sa buong mundo noong kalagitnaan ng dekada 90, mas maliit ang naging epekto ng financial crisis sa ating bansa.
Ay, si Duterte yan. Kasi, mas pinatatag niya yung critical na nanukulan na siya.
Sinino yan kasi bago kasi Duterte may K-12 na.
Oo nga, no?
Oh, kayo bahala. Si Duterte daw o si Ninoy?
Ako nga pala si Benigno Aquino III. Kilala rin ako sa tawag na Noynoy. Ako nga pala ang naging ika-15 presidente ng Pilipinas sa ika-5 republika nito. Sa aking pamumuno, ang mga naging kontribusyon ko sa bansa ay ang mga sumusunod.
Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. K-12 is a fulfillment of President Aquino's long-standing agenda to make education the central strategy for investing in the country's most important resource, the Filipino people. The second is the Domestic Workers Act or Batas Kasambahay, which sets the minimum wage for domestic workers in various locales and promote their right to humane treatment, access to education, and medical assistance. The third is the National Health Insurance Act of 2013, which makes healthcare services more accessible to citizens in need and mandates the enrollment of all Filipino citizens to healthcare. The next is the Human Rights Victims Reparation and Recognition Act of 2013, which recognizes the heroism and sacrifice of Filipinos who were victims of human rights violations committed during the Marcos regime. The law likewise enjoins the state to fulfill its moral and legal obligation to provide reparation for them and their families. The fifth is the Responsible Parenthood and Productive Health Act of 2012, a measure that provides Filipinos with the reproductive health information, services, and care necessary to planning and raising families in a responsible and safe manner.
Last is the Syntax Reform Act. The added revenue will help fulfill the administration's universal healthcare agenda by funding the expansion of PhilHealth and the provision of more medical assistance and health enhancement facilities across the country.
Sir, yan, naalala niyo yung sinasabi niya? Era para sa mahirap. Oo, nga, may pagkaroon ko.
Hindi, sila mo magsisi yan. Naniwala kayo sa akin. Ano yung instinct?
Talis pala kayo Romero eh. May instinct. Ayan, kaya kayo. Pili na kayo.
Ako si Ramon Magsaysay, ang ikatlong presidente ng ikatlong Republika ng Pilipinas. Tinapos ko ang korupsyon na bumabalot sa ating gobyerno na dahilan ng pagkakaroon ng sigalot sa kabuhayan ng ating mga mamamayang Pilipino. Nag-alok ng kabuhayan at pagbabago sa mga rebelde na bunga lamang ng hindi maayos na gobyerno at nais lamang na tapusin ang kanilang paghihirap. Ang paggawa ng Legal Assistance Program na makatutulong sa mga sumukong rebelde o Economic Development Corporation ay makatutulong upang mabigyan sila ng bagong pamumuhay sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng lupa. Aking binuksan ng Malacanang sa pangkaraniwang mamamayan na may karaingan sa pamamagitan ng Action Complaints and Action Committee na tutugon sa hinaing ng mga Pilipino. Hindi rin pinabayaan ng mga magsasaka na malaki ang ambag sa bansa at ipinagpatuloy ang ACFA at FACOMA na nakatutulong sa ating magsasaka at isinabatas ang Agricultural Tenancy Act na mapakikinabangan ng mga maliliit na magsasaka. Aking inilatag at pinaganda ang Agricultural Tenancy Act 1954
na magbibigay sa ating mga magsasaka ng kalayaan kung paano sila magtrabaho at hindi ang may-ari ng lupa ang palaging masusunod. Isinabatas ko rin ang Land Reform Act 1955 na magbibigay ng magandang ugnayan sa magsasaka at may-ari ng lupa. Isinakatuparan ng NARA na isa ring programa ng pabahay at palupa. Aking inabot ang lilayan ng lipunan upang tugunan ang pangangailangan ng mga mamamayan. Sinimulan ko ang mas malawakang community development sa pamamagitan ng Presidential Assistance for Community Development o PACD, na tutulong upang maipagawa ang mga kalsada at pagpapatayo ng mga pasilidad na makatutulong sa ating mamamayan, lalo na sa mga nasa liblib na lugar, at sa pagsasaayos ng edukasyon at suportang medikal ng ating mamamayan.
Meron pa kasi question? Kasi ako wala ko dyan eh.
Hirap ka lang ng tanong, hindi mo rin
Ako si Elpidio Quirino, ika-6 na presidente ng ika-3 Republika ng Pilipinas at narito ang aking mga ambag sa nagdaang termino.
Sa panahon ng Administrasyong Quirino ay pinagtuunan niya ng pansin ang pagpapaunlad ng ekonomiya sa pamamagitan ng industrialisasyon. Upang may sulong ng lubos ang kanyang programa hinggil sa pagpapataas ng antas ng buhay ng mga Pilipino ay pinatupad rin niya ang mga sumusunod. Narito ang mga programa at patakaran ng dating Pangulong Elpidio Quirino. Isa na rito ang pagpapatupad ng sistema ng patubig o irigasyon sa buong bansa na kailangan sa pagsasaka. Pagpapagawa ng mga lansangan upang mapabilis ang transportasyon, partikular ang mga farm-to-market roads. Pagsasagawa ng lingguhang pag-uulat sa taong bayan sa pamamagitan ng radyo at pahayagan ukol sa mga gawain ng kanyang administrasyon. Pagpapatayo ng mga bangko rural, nagpapautang ng kapital sa mga magsasaka. At pagtatatag ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.
I am Carlos P. Garcia. I was born on November 4, 1896. I am the 4th President of the Third Republic, and I was known for Filipino First Policy, who served as President of the Philippines. I also implemented cultural revival, economic nationalism. Noong taong 1953, tumakbo ako bilang presidente with Ramon Magsaysay, and siya ang nanalo bilang presidente at ako naman ang nag-serve as vice president. And after the death of Ramon Magsaysay in March 1957, ako yung pumalit sa kanya bilang presidente. And for the second time na ako'y tumakbo bilang full term as president in 1961, I was defeated by Vice President Diosdado Macapagal. Filipino First Policy. This policy heavily favored Filipino businessmen over foreign investor. I was also responsible for changes in retail trade which greatly affected the Chinese businessmen in the country. In a speech during joint session of the Congress on September 18, 1946. These are my other contributions as a president. Anti-communism. Both official and public, the Congress of the Philippines finally approved a bill outlawing the Communist Party of the Philippines. Despite the pressure exerted against the congressional measure, I assigned the aforementioned bill law as Republic Act Number 1700 or the Anti-Subversion Act on June 19, 1957. On September 22, 1992, Republic Act number 1700 as amended was repealed by Republic Act number 7633 during the administration of Fidel B. Ramos, which legalized the Communist Party of the Philippines. Underground movement and subversion, though sedition remained a crime. Republic Cultural Award. In addition to his laws and program, the administration also put emphasis on the reviving the Filipino culture. In doing so, the Republic Cultural Award was created. To this day, the award is being given to Filipino artists, scientists, historians, and writers.
Mabuhay, mapagpalang araw Pilipinas. Ako si Joseph Ejercito Estrada, ang ika-13 Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas. At narito ang ilan sa aking mga naiambag sa bansa sa nagdaan kong termino. Muli, ako si Joseph Ejercito Estrada. Maraming salamat.
I'm Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, the 14th President of the Philippines. I had the honor of serving my country from 2001 to 2010. As the daughter of former President Diosdado Macapagal, I was deeply committed to continuing my family's legacy of public service. My fellow Filipinos, during my presidency, we achieved significant progress in improving the lives of our citizens. I am particularly proud of the Strong Republic Nautical Highway project, which connected the major islands of the Philippines and improved transportation and trade. The expanded value-added tax law allowed us to fund infrastructure and social programs, including the Education for All and commission higher education initiatives, which aimed to provide universal access to education and improve its quality. Despite facing many controversies and challenges during my time in office, I remained steadfast in pursuing my vision for the country. I believe that through hard work, determination, and strong leadership, we can achieve great things. Thank you for your support, and I am confident that together we can continue building a strong and prosperous Philippines.
I am former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. I am 78 years old and I was born 28th of March 1945. I am the 16th President of the Philippines. Political ideology, PDP Laban. Here are some of my contributions under my administration. Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Law, also known as TRAIN Law. Build program under the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH. Mandated free college education. The Bangsamoro Organic Law. Prolonged 10-year passport and driver's license validity. Rehabilitation of Boracay, Manila Bay, and Marawi. Bureau of Fire Protection BFP Modernization Act, Anti-Terrorism Law, Syntax Law, Tax Amnesty Law, 105-day expanded maternity leave law, mental health law, one-stop service centers for OFWs, Overseas Filipino Bank, OF Bank, and OFW Hospital, OFW e-card, salary increase for cops and soldiers, government workers pay hike, balik probinsya.
Dalawa lang naman ang naging babaeng presidente ng Pilipinas eh. Si Cory at si Gloria.
May kahit ba na pumili?
Ako si Maria Corazon Cory Sumulong Aquino o kilala bilang Corazon. Ako ang ika-11 Pangulo ng Pilipinas noong taong 1986 hanggang 1992. Wala man akong karanasan sa politika, nalagpasan ko naman ang 7 COPATEP. Noong taong 1986 noong EDSA People Power Revolution, pinamunuan ko ang mapayapang revolusyon laban sa diktadoro ni Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Pagkatapos sumupo bilang Pangulo, nagpahayag ako ng bagong konstitusyon na nagtatag ng isang demokratiko at desentralisadong pamahalaan. Kinilala rin ng konstitusyong ito ang mga karapatan ng mga marginalized at protektahan ng karapatang pangtao. Nagpatupad ako ng komprehensibong programa para sa reformang agrikultural na naglalayong muling ipamahagi ang mga lupa sa mga magsasaka na walang lupa. Na ipamahagi ng gobyerno ang higit kumulang 4 na milyong ektarya ng lupa sa mga magsasaka na tumulong upang maibsan ang kahirapan sa mga rural na lugar. Inuna ko ang paglaban sa katiwalian at itinatag ang Presidential Commission on Good Government o PCGG. Bilang pinakaunang babaeng Pangulo ng Pilipinas, tinaguyod ko ang karapatan ng mga kababaihan at nagtalaga ako ng ilang mga babae sa nakakataas na posisyon sa gobyerno. Sa ilalim ng aking administrasyon, ang Department of Science Technology ay naglunsad ng iba't ibang mga programa na naglalayong itaguyod ang agham at teknolohiya, na naglalayong magbigay ng tulong teknikal at pagsasanay sa mga maliliit at katamtamang laki ng mga negosyo. Sa panghuli, ako muli, si Corazon Aquino, ang pinakaunang-unang Pangulo ng Pilipinas.
I am Manuel Rojas, and I am the first President of Third Republic and the last President of the Commonwealth. I serve as the 5th President of the Philippines from 1946 to 1948. And my contribution during my presidency is I proposed the establishment of the Philippine Rehabilitation Finance Corporation, and I propose the creation of Central Bank of the Philippines to help stabilize the Philippine dollar reserves and coordinate the nation's banking activities, gearing them to the economic progress. The other one is the reconstructing after the war, and I also proclaim the Rice Tenancy Act of 1933. And then lastly, the Treaty of General Relation that had been entered into by and between the Republic of the Philippines and the United States on July 4, 1946. I am happy to return the halls in which I saw my start in national public life. I feel perfectly at home here. It has been my great privilege to preside over both the houses of Congress in years past. No one is more jealous than I have been, and still I am of proud prerogatives of legislative branch of government. You share with me the responsibilities, the coordinate and co-equal responsibilities of reflecting the will of the people in the great task which faces the government today. I see among you some few who were my colleagues in the drafting of the Constitution of this Commonwealth, of what will soon be a free republic. Some few days ago, on May 28, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines. This I intended to do with all the vigor at my command. I am firmly convinced that laws are wiser guides than individuals in regulating the proper conduct of human affairs. I pledge before you an ad. I hope there will always be, as I'm sure there is now, complete understanding between us and a spirit of cooperation which will enable us to move together along the bewildering paths of our immediate future towards the bright day of prosperity and security. With faith in each other and in the people of the Philippines, we will succeed in our task. So help us, God.